Ladies and gentlemen, it's happened again. We have yet again seen another all-time high for our crypto coins. And even though not every single one of them has been brought to the crazy heights we like to see, at least Bitcoin has, as the price right now is above $110,000. Ethereum is at 2,819, up a ton. And a little fun fact, I texted one of my best friends yesterday, hey, should I go all in on Ethereum? Because it seems kind of undervalued. It was below 2,700 or so. Right now, we've already pumped like crazy, but that's the thing, right? These times can easily make you FOMO. What does FOMO mean? It means fear of missing out, that you act stupidly and buy in harder than you really should be doing. All you got to do is lock in, realize the next couple of months are going to be mostly up. And by the way, if you're wondering what exactly I texted my friend, I said, hey, should I go all in on ETH? Or should I go all in on hype? And then about 15 minutes later, I said, hey, you know what? Why not just go 3x hype long? If you're wondering what that is all about, basically the strategy is as follows. We believe the crypto bull market's here, right? And the altcoin season is about to come. If you want to take full advantage of that, one of the easiest ways to do it is by opening long positions. Now, there are a couple of downsides, a couple of risks. One of them being that leverage can sometimes get you wrecked if you don't pay close attention. There are two main ways around that. One is to kind of use a bot strategy like I've been showing over the past few weeks. And number two is by using such low leverage that you won't get liquidated or have enough to cover for the extra margin to not get wrecked. And a very common strategy in bull markets by many high net worth traders is to do about a 3x long. And that basically means you don't really buy too much spot, but whatever holdings you have, you open 3 times a position worth. So if you had $1 million worth of XRP, you open a $3 million XRP position because the probability of that trade getting wrecked for ETH, Bitcoin, hype, XRP, just some of the main coins is quite small, especially if you got some funds on the side to cover in case we do see another massive crash. But with the macro situation right now, it seems as if a deal between the US and China is in the works and is basically as done as can be. US and China agree in principle on framework for new trade deal after 2 days of talks in London. And also a little bit earlier, we had a new announcement that the US and Mexico were close to getting a deal of sorts finalized. By the way, I should say that these days have been filled with positive crypto news announcements. Another one 5 hours ago was that Solana ETFs could be approved in 3 to 5 weeks. GameStop purchased 5,000 Bitcoin between the last month, let's just call it. And here is something else that I think was quite interesting. It's a post of mine from about a year ago. And it said, I'm ready for what's about to happen next. And basically what you can see is we were expecting Bitcoin to go for a pretty massive breakout, basically taking us towards $120,000. And the thing is, even though that did not happen directly, right now we're at 110,000, right? But at that point, we'd never broken above, I'm going to say, the 75. I'm not sure if I think it's a little bit above 70, but let's just say we've never gone above $80,000. And as of that point, right, 110, 120 seems so far away. If I right now are asking you, hey, do you think $120,000 per Bitcoin is crazy? Nobody will say, yeah, that sounds stupid, because it's just like 9% away, something like that, right? But back then, it was really, really odd. That's why I keep telling people, look a bit further when you're talking about your when you're thinking of your portfolio, when you're trying to make up sizes for your trades, when you're trying to make money in the crypto space. Think about it in a few year time span or a few month time span, not a few hours, unless you might be scalping or something like that. But again, that's a different game. Ultimately, though, U.S. Commerce Secretary Lutnick says the U.S. and China trade deal talks are going really, really well, and he hopes they end this evening. If needed, Lutnick says it could go into tomorrow. But that's, in my opinion, a pretty good thing. The fact that the trade deal between the US and China could be done by later this year could be quite peculiar. And I mean, Elon Musk is also backtracking with his statements. Basically, he deleted a post where he said that President Trump's tariffs will cause a recession in the second half of the year. He got rid of that, so he's basically backtracking some of his earlier posts. Interesting. I'll just put it at that. Interesting for Musk to get back on his word. As of that point, though, we also had President Trump saying he's not going to get rid of his Tesla, which did pump the price about 5% or so throughout the day. And I think those are the... We also had yesterday a little announcement from the SEC chair that DeFi platforms will be exempt from regulatory barriers. So all around, some pretty positive news over the past 24 hours here. And I'm guessing that that's also what push the crypto market up a little bit. I mean, as of this point, I wouldn't say these prices are astronomical, but again, Bitcoin is basically at a new all-time high. Ethereum is not at all close, but you know, it's working towards making its way there. XRP is also not close, but all these are set for another massive rush, but something needs to start. And right now it seems Uniswap and a couple of coins in the ETH ecosystem have started to pop off and kind of things akin to it. Right, a lot of the DeFi related sectors, because of Lutnick's, you know, the SEC's statement, everything DeFi related was pumping just now. But soon, again, it will be our main coins. It's just a matter of patience. Here's a little list of how they've done, by the way. Uniswap up 25, Lido up 13.15, Arbitrum up 13%, ENS 12, SPX 12%. This is a meme coin. Fartcoin and Pengu are also meme coins, by the way, both up in the double digits, all three of them actually. Optimism is up. XDC is the outlier here, and of course Hype, ENA, AVA, Chainlink. These are all kind of logical. Curve, Cake, all DeFi related things. These are all logical as well. And if you're wondering where this is going to end, when does the pump stop? Well, we basically think, as of this point, it is still smart to buy. Some coins like ETH are in a position where it's getting more and more scary to accumulate these coins, right? Because at 2,800, it's a lot scarier than the $2,100 range. But on the opposite side, and I think this should also not be taken too lightly, it's still quite low in the broader scheme of a crypto market, right? And if you think about it from that angle, if $4,500 is just the previous tops prices, well, then it's still pretty cheap right now at 2,800. And that's kind of the way I like to look at it, not from the angle of where is it right now to where it was a few weeks ago, but where is it to where it was a few years ago. Bitcoin went from that level, $70,000 in the 2021 run, to 110, so let's just say plus 50%, whereas actually way more than that, but let's just say plus 50%. ETH went from $4,500 previous cycle to like 4,000, something like that. So it's only gone down. We need another pump for these coins, and it's going to happen most likely between now and January of 2026, where we see the peak. So all I'm doing is just accumulating, and mostly doing that with my bots. And if you remember, a few days ago, most of these were red, right? Well, take a look at them right now. Almost every single one of them is back in the green, but as of this point, they've gritted out even more profits, and that's what I keep on saying. Many of y'all will laugh at me. Many of y'all will hate my guts for talking so confidently about it. But it's because I know what the frick I'm doing. I know these bots are extremely useful and extremely profitable. And that's why I just keep talking about it almost every single day on the channel here, because they are just that good. Take a look at our 250K Bitcoin bot. We put 50K in. It's up, what, $20,000 or so. XRP similarly. You can see how much in grid profits it's been cashing out on the side. And all of these, the whole idea is that they go down tremendously. Like this one was down just a few days ago below our starting price. But the fact that it does that means it can cash out these grid profits. So again, this is something we like to see. XLM similarly, right? The lower it goes, we either kind of double down by buying a bit more. I believe we might have done that for our secondary Solana bot here. I think we only opened... I believe we doubled down a little bit on this position, but I'm not 100. Wait, maybe I need to refresh this. Give me just a second to quickly see if this is okay. So we might have doubled down somewhere, but I've forgotten a little bit. But the long story short is that I believe we doubled down by buying a bit more when this bot was down tremendously, and the same for a couple of others when the price started going lower and lower and lower. I believe, for example, for the Cardano ADA bot here as well, we only put $1,500 in originally, but as the price started going down lower and lower and lower, we put in another $1,500 to average our price down lower. And now you can see, even though the start price was 0.74, the price right now is 0.72. We are up tremendously. You can see, right? We're up $600 on 3,000, so up 21%, because again, we stuck to the strategy and we knew how to work this trading game to make a ton of freaking dollars. Now, the ETH bot, by the way, as well, is just raking in more and more profit. I'm kind of sad. This is the only trade I've ever taken that I should have just put more in, but for some reason didn't. Again, this was supposed to be a $250,000 position as well, $50,000 plus. But for some reason, because the price went up from $1,700 to $2,100 that day, I didn't want to put too much, on a plus 20-something% day. but the price has only gone up ever since. This bot has never gotten into a loss because the moment I open it, only for a few hours or so it was at a loss, and then just up and up and up. Yeah, we can regret it, but basically, as it currently stands, I shouldn't FOMO. All I can do is open yet another ETH bot and just kind of DCA that one down. I could be doing that, but we've got a good spread of different assets right here. The only one still at a loss is the HBAR bot, but if it goes down further into a loss, I will definitely just add to the position, to stack it up for the longer term. But you can see how beautifully it works. You just need to give it some time to shine. It can be $1 million at a loss. It doesn't matter because I know I'm going to make $3 million off of it then if it does. But yeah, that's about it for this little crypto update. If you enjoyed it, make sure you press that like button. And things are good. You just got to be patient enough. But yeah, you all know it. You know the drill.